Yo, what's up, guys? In today's video, I'm gonna be giving you guys a in-depth view on time frame correlation, how to understand how the smaller time frame can build up to create that higher time frame move. You know what I'm saying? So, let's just get straight into it. So, look, let's. I have it on 3 separate screens, so you guys can actually see. Because I'm not gonna be flipping from different this time frame to this time frame, this time frame. I want you guys to see just a whole view on just everything in general. You know what I'm saying? I just did that Doctor Strange type of movement. But look, so we just had this higher high. This is the daily time frame. This right here, daily. This right here on the right bottom hand corner is going to be like the H4, H1 time frames, and then this side of the screen is all like entry time frames, right? So on the daily time frame, we see we've been in this huge uptrend, right? We had this higher high form, this higher low form, and then now we have this new higher high, right? Which on the H4, it broke this level of resistance. And if you are a student of mine, you will understand why I say that like on the H4, it's a broken and not on the daily time frame. So we now see that on the daily time frame, we see that price was then creating that new higher low that was gonna form, right? So then we see just this would have been considered, let me boom, this right here, this green, where this green line is at, would have been considered a 23.6. So it's just a continuation of a trend. So we then see that price then came back down, kept pushing down, right? We then see that we then drew this area of exhaustion, right? And then we see that price was hitting this MA, as well as when this candle formed, it had all this seller's exhaustion, right? So that's how you know that the price is, you see that price is then transitioning to that seller's market. But on the H4 time frame, here, let me put this on the H4 time frame. Yeah, this is me back testing all this, but but look, so we then see on the H4 time frame that this is a lower high. All of this whole area is a lower high. So I'm about to write that down for you guys. A lower high, right? Let's make it bold. Boom. All right. So since we already know this is a lower high, as well as this blue line right here, that's the level of support that was created from this lower low basically. So then you see a price coming back up, then came back down. Mind you, this whole transition right here makes up that whole wick on that daily time frame. So you already understand that once price gets to this whole area, you already see like the transitioning about to form, as well as that's when we drew our trend line. See, from point A to point B, right? So anything that's touching or getting near this trend line, we already see the whole transition of it, right? So you then see that price eventually came back down. We then see that price then eventually came back down, right, to that same area, hitting that trend line as well as at that exhausted area. So what we call that as that's already two confluences on the daily time frame, right? So now we just wait. Now we just go on the H4 time frame, right? Because on the daily time frame, all we're seeing is just candles. We're not seeing structure. So now this is where you actually understand if you can see structure, or if it's, for example, if there's too little structure or too little detail, or let me go back, let me rephrase that. If there's too little detail or too much detail on the time frame that you are on for market analysis, right? So let's say like on this H4 time frame, you really can't see structure at all. So what we do, we just go on the H1 time frame. See on the H1 time frame, you can actually see structure. You can see that lower high being formed, but we're still on the daily time frame. You're still seeing that selling pressure, right? So we have this candle right here, right? So on this time frame, it would have been all of this. This would have been this candle right here, all of this, right? So once it hit 5 o'clock, or let's just put it to this candle, boom. whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, so all of this time frame. So from this to this, all of this, right, makes up this whole candle right here. But the start of this candle, this red bearish candle, is starts with this candle right here. So I'll just make it red so you guys can see it. All right, we're still not on the entry time frame. We're still overall analyzing the daily and the time frame of analysis, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to see how the higher time frame, the volume of each candle, how it forms, so we can have a better confidence in taking the trade, right? So as well as on the H4 time frame, we did see that break of a lower low, right? So look, you see, we just broke that lower low with these two bearish candles. So now what are we doing? We're looking for that lower high. But then that's when we said, remember, we said that on the H4 you really can't see structure. That's why we went right back down to the H1 time frame. So that's when we see this. We see that lower low being, or lower high, my bad, being formed, right? And then we see that price is respecting this high level of resistance. But then we see these two bullish candles. Well, all those candles basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? All these 4 candles form, showing you that that was a break of resistance, as well as what would it be? Creating a new level of a higher high, right? So now what we're looking for is, now we're looking for a higher low. So what we see here is that there's an area of exhaustion on the 1 hour. Put that to the back, boom, right? So that's what we see. We see that there's a new level being created. That's when we see the transition of that selling pressure right back up to that buying pressure, right? So this, now right now we already see at the previous day, so this bullish candle, right? So anything before this red arrow was this bullish candle right here, right? So that's already a confirmation. All right, like that's the buying pressure is already accumulating to push up into its direction, as well as us understanding that we are already overall on a bigger time frame. So like on the weekly time frame, we're already, you see, bullish, 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 bullish. So we're already in a bigger time frame, move. So now let's go back up to this H1 time frame, right? We're waiting for that engulfing variation, or just the time frame of analysis, right? So we already see price hitting that exhaustion, right? That's already that 1 hour exhaustion, that bigger exhaustion time frame. So on that daily, 3 already hitting that trend line, which was on the daily time frame, right? And then as well as it's already hitting above that MA and already creating that higher low, right? So that's already 5 confirmations plus, let's see another one, which but from here, now that we already see that engulfing variation right there, all right? So now we can be like, all right, bet. We're not gonna just enter on this time frame, because like, what's the point of me entering on this time frame? What's the point of me entering on this time frame, right? Move this down here, as well as this, as well as this. But what's the point of me entering on this time frame if I'm gonna be in drawdown, and as well as my stop loss is gonna be really huge, and I don't like that. Right, so that's why we go on a smaller time frame. So this time frame will be on the 15-minute time frame, right? The 15-minute. All right, so then we see here, we see price then coming back up, right? It came right back down. You see, and this is where your candlestick analysis comes in, right? We're already in the bullish, we're already forming that bullish momentum. We already have that daily time frame. That recent day was already bullish. The 1 hour already broke that lower high, creating a higher high, as well as now we're forming that higher low, right? And as well as we created that engulfing variation. So we're already seeing the transition of buyers. So now we go on that 15-minute time frame. We see that we're seeing these 2 exhausted candles, right? That selling exhaustion, right? We barely see that buyer's exhaustion. Then what we see? This beautiful bullish candle with literally no exhaustion of buyers, but a little bit more exhaustion of sellers. That'll be our entry time frame. Boom. 15 pip stop loss right below that recent wick, right? And then our TP is gonna be based off of that recent lower high from that H4 time frame. Because remember, we have to break. Right now, we're just breaking how to say, like, levels of resistance. We're not really breaking true structure yet. Until it actually breaks this whole structure, this blue area right here, that's that true structure, that true lower high. All right, so that's our first entry, right? Whoa, that's already our first entry. So now we wait. All right, we're just in that waiting process because we understand that price, we're just transitioning. We're not fully in the buyer's market. We're still in that 50-50 type of sellers and buyers. But now we go right back to that H1 time frame. We see that we pushed up. We were up, good 25 pips. And then we see here there was a level of resistance which got broken, right? Creating a new higher high. All right, this is simple. All right, so this would be your higher low, right? Boom, higher low, right? As well as you can draw your trend line on this time frame so you can see that buying pressure kicking in. All right, so it'll be from point A. All right, let's make this a little darker. Point A to to point B, right? So that's already your 2 points, right? Point A and point B. So anything above it, anything that touches that trend line, yo, you better. That's a good catch of a buy, right? So now we see that price then came back down, right? Creating this new higher low, as well as you see that exhaustion, right? That exhaustion at the bottom. All right, so boom, that's your H1 exhaustion right there. Send to the back, right? So now we see that engulfing variation again. Now what does that show you? That buying pressure is kicking in again, right? So we go back down to that. So anything after this time frame or anything after this candle is good for buys. Boom. Right? So now we see on the 15-minute time frame, like, what do we see? We do see an engulfing variation, but me personally, I do not like how it looks because it has like that exhaustion up top as well as the MAs on top of it. So it's like I would just rather go on like the 30-minute time frame, for analysis as well, just to see how that pressure, like where it's coming in. So let's go right back down to that 30-minute time frame. All right. So look, on this 30-minute time frame, we see that what we saw in that 15-minute time frame was just a wick on the 30-minute time frame. So it wasn't really true pressure, right? And that's when we see this. Beautiful, right? That's a beautiful candle. Literally no exhaustion of buyers, huge exhaustion of sellers. That would be your time frame of entry. Boom. 10 pip stop loss. 10 pip or even this put 15 pips. Right? So then the same thing, your entry, or you already have an entry, you already have your stop loss. But what you're projecting at is that recent lower high. Boom. All right, so then now we're seeing that price is creating lower highs, right? You see this on this time frame. You see the price is creating lower highs, lower highs. So what you do, you can just draw your minor counter trend line right there. So we do see price creating lower highs, but what is it really doing? Like, is it really creating lower highs? But it's respecting that level of support, right? It's respecting this whole area of support. She's getting exhausted at the bottom. So it's like, yes, you're seeing that selling pressure coming down, but it's still respecting the level of support. So you just maintain that trade until you see, boom, look, until you see this. You're seeing price then coming to that area of that trend line. All right, let's make this bigger so y'all can see it. All right, boom. And then we're seeing it respecting it, and then we see this bullish candle. We're like, all right, bet. So now what do we see on a smaller time frame? Right, so on this 30-minute time frame, we see this level of this resistance being created. Let's make this orange, right? And then we see a break with these two candles, right? These two candles right here, right? That's your break of that resistance. And then you see price then coming back down. But can you really see what price is doing? Can you really see that high or low forming, right? No, you can't. So now we go right back down to that 15-minute time frame. You want to see the details. If you can't really see details, go on a smaller time frame. If it's too much detail, go on a higher time frame, right? Or no, that's reversed. If there's too much detail, right? So say like this is too much detail, you would go on the H4 time frame. But let's say like this. For example, all right, so you see how you can see all this structure right here, this higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. But if I went on the H4 time frame, you can't really see structure. So why would you want to enter off of, why would you want to analyze off of this time frame right here? Because you really can't see anything. So you go on the H1 time frame, right? But if there's too much detail, like for right here, like for this example right here, this minor, like you see that break of resistance, that's when you would go on the H4 time frame. And then you would see on H4 time frame, what you just saw on that H1 time frame, that level of resistance, was just wick. So it wasn't really true structure. What true structure was in this area right here, right? So that's a little, keep in mind about that. So we go right back down to that 15-minute time frame, right? We see that on the 30-minute time frame, that level of resistance was broken, right? So now we're just looking for 30-minute time frame. We've seen that break of resistance. So let's go right back to it, just so I can refresh myself. You know what I'm saying? All right. So on that 30-minute time frame, we're gonna just reset this whole thing, right? So on this 30-minute time frame, we see that break of resistance, right? And then we wait and see for that higher low, but we don't really see that structure. We don't see that higher low. All we see is just price being exhausted. And no, we don't want that. That's too much. That's too little detail right there, right? So now we go on the 15-minute time frame, right? We're on the 15-minute time frame, and we see that then price came back down, right? It's hitting that trend line as well as it's hitting that counter trend line. It made that level of support, right? And it's hitting, it just hit that H1 exhaustion. We then see this beautiful bullish candle, right? Stop loss, you can put 10 pips. Same thing, same thing. Our TP, our projection is towards that lower high that was formed, right? And as well as you already seen that buying pressure kicking in from that recent higher low. Now this new higher low, right? Then all that price is doing now is creating minor 23.6 retraces, right? So literally all of this right here is just 23.6 retraces, meaning it's just a continuation of that trend. So then now you see, look at this, look at the daily candle, right? So when all of this was forming, it was forming this whole candle, and you can even see it clearly. Here, let's boom, right? So you have that full body of a candle, right? So when this formed right here, right, boom, we're already at that lower high, right, from that H4 time frame. So once we see this, we're on the H4 time frame, but then we see that there's no two candles, there's no two bullish candles, right? That shows that it broke. But just understanding how the higher time frame is doing, like what it's doing, just you see that level of support, boom, or even matter of fact, we go on a smaller time frame just to see what it's doing, right? And just understanding that price is at a high, like that recent lower high, but as well as that daily time frame, that candle right there that you see, that daily candle is really bullish. So you're not gonna see a huge drop and then keep pushing up. Like, no, you're gonna see a 23.6 retrace, which what we see right here, right? And then that's when you go on the 15-minute time frame, because we already see that engulfing variation, right? So there's three things right here, right? We are forming, make this, no. All right. So we're at that level of resistance as right, and we're at that area of exhaustion that we have right there, right? And on the daily time frame, we have a bullish candle, a huge bullish candle, with literally barely any exhaustion from buyers, right? So then from here, we see that on the H1, it created an engulfing variation. So what we do now, we go on a smaller time frame, which we do right here on that 15-minute time frame. We see that it created a level of support. It's respecting it, right? Let's change to black, right? It's respecting it, as well as we're on that level of resistance. We then see that we are still above the MA, showing that there's still buying pressure, right? So from here, we just wait. We're just waiting. This candle right here, it's a great engulfing variation candle, but at the same time, it's look at the wick. Like, there's too much wick of buyers. But then we see this candle right here, right? That beautiful bullish candle. Literally, that's when like that momentum starts to shift. So same thing, 15 pip stop loss, right there. So from here, we can switch it up, and your TP would be from this exhaustion area on the H1 time frame. Send it back, boom. See, so that would be your TP, especially right here. Even though I don't really be touching too much on quarter points, but it's at a quarter point level. Let's change it to a bigger one, put orange. All right, look, it's at that quarter point. So there's already two types of confluences right there. So it's like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's really it. That's like the time frame correlation, just understanding what that smaller time frame is doing to build up to that higher time frame, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm gonna be uploading a lot more videos towards like me back testing, because literally this is all me back testing. So hope you guys enjoyed. For the next one, like and subscribe, and peace out, my dudes.